Coming to you live from the One More and I'm Out of Here / Illegal Shift Studios.
Great new intro. Dig it.
I figured you'd like that.
I did. I liked it a lot. I wonder who thought of that.
I get yelled at every time because it was too long.
Dude, yelling, that's a strong term. Yell is not
but
a great term.
Our buddy Jonathan Bates,
thank you,
hooked us up.
And
I think he did a great job. I like it.
I'd like to call everyone's attention to, we have some new swag in the studio today for the election. We have the Trump ears here in the studio. It's a magnet. It's going on Jason's fridge after the show
with a big chunk.
It's got a big chunk out of it. You know, I was, and who says 3D printers are stupid?
Dude, seriously, you're very, very good at it.
I am very good at 3D printing. I mean, I'm not I'm not good at designing, but actually, if I find a design and can tweak it, I love messing around with the stupid thing. I think I printed like 10 of those. So besides the first of all, you know, it's been what? How long? When was our last show? A week?
28th was our last one.
What's today?
The 4th.
So it's been about a week.
Yeah.
Cool. How was your week?
It was good. I tweaked the shit out of my back.
Does it hurt?
Oh yeah, real bad.
Did you fall on your manhood again, or
no,
was this work related or non-work related?
I just did some. I'm going to be 45 next weekend, and it's all coming to terms.
Oh, just wait till 50.
So I'm literally like sitting with a stick shoved up my ass.
Does it hurt really bad?
It hurts really bad.
So if I pushed you like when you stood up, you'd probably cry?
It would probably not be good.
Are you on anything?
I have some stuff from when I broke my ribs. So
and Miller Lite. Not being a doctor, but being and Miller Lite. That's a great combination.
Right.
Not being a doctor, but having had back pain my whole life and suffered through spinal fusion and some other incidents, I will tell you it's probably a nerve that is swelling above a vertebrae. So it's probably popping on it. Does it drop you to your knees?
It's
like a knife.
Maybe not that bad, but it's not pleasant.
Okay, you need something for the swelling. So you need to take something that's going to take the swelling down. Masking the pain is just a mask. Don't wear a mask.
Don't wear a mask.
We don't like masks.
How was your week?
It was interesting.
How was your Halloween?
We had so I was going to go on a trip, and I got to Dayton this time before the dog decided to throw up everything in his stomach for the last week. God. And I thought he was done throwing up. And so I turned around because he was not having a good time. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to make you suffer for my, you know, I had a couple of errands to run up there, but I just decided to turn around. So anyhow, and I thought he was done vomiting. And
were you heading to Camp Pappas?
I was headed to my Fortress of Solitude, location unknown,
i.e. Camp David
and Camp Solitude. And so I put him in my lap. I thought he was done. I mean, I leave him loose in the car now in the back with the other dog, but so he's sitting in my lap and he was kind of chilling, and I thought, okay, everything's done. Then he turned around, I felt him kind of being squiggly, and all of a sudden he just vomited right on my knee, and it just kind of started running down my knee, and I was just thinking, this is not fun. So turned around and came back.
Puppy,
yeah, get a puppy, everything's great. So I turned around, I came back while I'm texting, while I'm talking to you. And I turned around, came back, hit the natty, trying to work on some other more homeopathic ways to calm the dog down. I don't think it's nausea. I think it's actually he just gets so worked up over being in the car.
Gets excited.
He gets overly excited. And then, so anyway, I'm going to work on some other things. And people are like, give him CBD. You know, CBD is the answer to everything. Give your dog CBD. I was like, but I don't want a stoner dog. So anyhow, I'm back.
He's going to start barking at you like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Anyhow, so I'm looking into some alternate homeopathic. I actually called the vet. I was like, what do you have that can just knock a pet out for like 7 hours? They're like, we don't have anything like that. I'm like, no, you do. I know you do. Just give me something to knock. I just want him to sleep for 7 hours. So I got to work through the progression on that. But so I was in town working on a couple things. I'm getting my, you know, tomorrow, whether or not people have heard it yet, guess what tomorrow is? Tomorrow's election day.
Here, hold on. We were on the Halloween thing. So tell me about your fucking
Halloween. So that was Halloween. That was Halloween. I was headed out of town. And then, so I ran back, got back in time to be at my house. Literally had, now this neighborhood here, you probably got a lot of kids.
Yeah, it was. And even with the shitty weather, it was pretty crowded. I mean,
well, the weather kind of broke. I mean, it rained earlier and then it kind of stopped.
And then it was spitting.
Yeah, but not hard.
So Jill and Zoe walked around. I went over to our friend Chris and Carrie Wolfengel's house.
How many kids do you suspect that you had here?
Oh, I mean, it wasn't as big as
500?
as yours. Oh,
300?
yeah, easy,
Seriously?
easy.
I think I had
500.
10.
Oh, no shit.
Seriously. I think I had 10. So I'm now working on being a diabetic because
Because you have all your candy.
I have all my candy.
You can bring it here. I'll take it.
I'm going to have it tomorrow at the polls. So if you're near Maddox Elementary tomorrow, you'll be getting my leftover candy, except for the Twix, because I'm pretty sure I picked all those out of the bag.
No,
I think I had
no razor blades or LSD. Or
no. I think I picked like 20. I think I ate 20 Twix on the way here. Those little Twix. I was just driving, chilling, eating baby Twix.
It's so easy.
Oh, they're just bite sized. They're not even real candy bars.
I don't know if you saw anybody come by your house that looked like this, but I saw.
No, we had. Yeah, I want to see this again. This is great.
I saw this. This was hilarious.
We're gonna have an amazing Halloween. We're gonna make a lot of candy, more candy than ever before. We're gonna have better jobs, better economy, lower gas prices. You already know that by now. But if you don't have any brain cells, obviously, or common sense, you're voting for Kamala Harris. No one likes Kamala and Tampon Tim. But you already know November 5th, vote for me. It's going to be phenomenal. And like I said, have an amazing Halloween. Make a lot of candy. Get a lot of candy, okay? It's going to be phenomenal. Be nice to people. And we're going to make this phenomenal. The best one we've ever seen in 30 years, okay? Bye. And you know what's going on? November 5th's coming up. You got to vote for Donald. We're going to make America great again. We're going to make it.
I saw that. I laughed my ass off it. I mean, for as young as he is, he's pretty good.
He's really good. I saw some really cute. I mean, I was on the interweb, and I saw some really cute outfits. And at my house, we had some good ones, but you had 500 kids. I had 10. So go do the math.
John, who did our thumbnail and our readjusted intro, said Benadryl for the dog. Just pop him some Ben.
I'm going to work on it. Going back in history, I gave a dog one time. So I had a dog, just to be a brief aside. So I had a dog. He's passed. So and this didn't cause him to pass, but I don't think.
Boy. Oh boy.
But this dog was lasted a long time. So he was congested. He was having trouble breathing. I thought it was allergies, and I gave him, I think it was Sudafed. I'm almost positive it was Sudafed, but I'm not 100% positive. And then I'm sitting there reading the back of the thing, and they're like, "Do not give to dogs." And I'm like, "Holy shit, what did I do?" Apparently, that is like speed to dogs. So the dog was just sitting there. He's like bouncing around. I was like,
he's breathing like a motherfucker.
He's either really happy or I'm killing the dog. So I'm real leery about doing home, human to dog medications. But I will look into that. What do you say? I tried
Benadryl.
Benadryl. I will try that. Thank you.
So in our neighborhood, there's multiple houses.
We have great resources here.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
All you got to do is network.
220, 221, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
That's right.
But in our neighborhood, there's a couple houses that do like a great theme. And there's one right around the corner from us that does a great Christmas theme, like with all the lights and the whole thing.
They're their own radio station?
But yeah, you tune in.
Seriously?
Yeah, you literally drive by, you tune in. And it's Christmas time. It's awesome. I don't know if they do. I didn't pay attention if they did anything for Halloween, but there's another house that we were talking about having neighbors that get super into it. They keep their shit up most of the year for Halloween, which I think is a little much. But I saw this, so I'm not going to play the whole video, but I saw this one, and Jill's a big Michael Jackson fan, aficionado, outside of his nefarious activities, but his music and dancing.
I just love the children.
But I saw this one, so since we had Halloween in between our last podcast and this one, I want to play it.
I remember.
So
the
yeah,
video.
so that video was obviously a huge video when it came out.
Yes.
But the fact that he had background dancers and the way that they were,
Dude, do you know how much those? Do you know how much those decorations? Those like giant skeletons are not cheap.
no,
I mean, they were up at Home Depot pretty darn quick before Halloween. And they've just gone straight to Christmas now. I didn't see many inflatable turkeys there at Home Depot.
right.
But you do have a neighbor, somebody down the street as I was coming in has an inflatable turkey in their yard. I'm not big on inflatables. I just, I'm probably the laziest Halloween decorator. I take a plastic, I forget how much it was, pumpkin, and I put it over the lamppost and I leave the light on the lamppost and that's it. I'm just like, there you go.
Perfect.
Have at it. Well, I mean, just, it's different.
So it's funny. Jill put some, just light decorations outside.
Yeah, some decorations. You didn't go crazy.
And it was so funny. Like I'd be at the firehouse and the wind would kick up and then it would hit my Ring camera saying somebody's at my front door. I'm like, we have to move that because literally my phone's going off all day long.
Oh, so you get those alerts?
Yeah.
I just have a deal that if somebody is spending, I mean, I kind of think that you should not spend more money on Halloween than you do on every other holiday combined. Right. Like that guy probably did. But I see those big things. I was at Home Depot. I saw those giant skeletons like he had, and I'm like, not going to happen.
Oh, it's like Caddyshack. We have a pool and a pond. Pond's good for you.
That's it.
I mean, if that's what you want to do. I mean, I love Halloween, but yeah, I'm not going that crazy.
Well, I don't dress up, and I don't go to Halloween parties, and I don't. I'm glad. Put it this way, I'm glad I was home because the last thing I wanted was, even though there was very few kids, I think we had literally 3 groups of children. I don't want to be that house. It's like, just go away.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be the one with the lights out.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the one like, just take one. I'm watching you on my camera. Take one candy. I remember the one kid because I saw that it was going to be light because the weather was kind of, not the greatest. Like you said,
shitty.
it wasn't terrible, but it was okay. I mean, whatever. And
it was so nice.
It was late.
3 days leading up to. I know. And then all of a sudden, Halloween, it just turns to garbage.
Well, it's because God doesn't like Halloween. So anyway, so this I saw the first group come up, and it was fairly late because I was kind of like expecting people there earlier. So I just grabbed like a giant handful and put it in. I remember the one kid's face. He's like, "No way!" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm the greatest person on this block. Don't ever take a yard sign.
Don't egg. Don't take my yard signs. Don't toilet.
I probably should have put Trump stickers on all the candy, but I didn't do that.
Oh my!
They should have had. See, that's something for politics is you should have like election themed candy that you give out because Halloween, is before election day every time there's an election. So they should have been Trump candy bars. It's the greatest candy. What that kid say? It's the greatest candy. He was good.
I figured we hit some lighthearted stuff before we actually get into the.
Well, I wanted to let you know you gave me some swag yesterday. I had the privilege of meeting Tucker Carlson and listening to his speech, and you gave me some swag to take to him. And I just wanted to let you know that did not make it.
I didn't figure it out.
It just wasn't appropriate. I mean, they were like, I walked up, I said, "Hey, nice to meet you. I appreciate all you do." Shook his hand, got a picture, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, there was like, I don't know, maybe 100 people in line. So I didn't have time to be like, "Hey, you mind if I just get this picture? And here I have this gift for you." He gave a great speech. So I do miss Tucker Carlson on broadcast. You know what I mean? Where you don't have to sign into something or go to a specific page. I know he has a channel, and I am on it, but I'm lazy.
It's a lot easier.
I like to pick up the remote control and be like, "I'm old. What do you want from me?" Yeah, just make it work. So anyway, but he did say hello. I said, I said, "You were the reason we got started in podcasting."
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I didn't.
I know you didn't.
I didn't. I was so mellow.
So I want to start with this story that I actually saw this today, and I sent you some other stuff, and we've been bantering back and forth. But
bantering.
This one, I mean this episode's, literally going to go over these stories and then just thoughts before tomorrow, which tomorrow is going to be a big day.
Tomorrow's a big day. I'll be going to bed early tonight, and I know a lot of people. Listen, before we get into the show, I'd like to give the shout out because most people, unless you've worked the inside polls in an election, you don't understand the hours involved.
Right.
So I would like
Very
to
long
I
day.
would like to salute those folks that are working. Yes, you are getting paid, not a lot, but you're not doing it for the money. And I salute the people that are working in the polls tomorrow. Without you, without the people that volunteer, Republicans, and even, yes, you Democrats, the elections would not be possible tomorrow if we didn't have you there working the polls, making sure. And I'll tell you, we'll touch on a couple of stories today, but man, have you seen? I mean, Ohio really has its electioning down pretty darn well.
Yeah.
We don't see a whole. We've seen. You got how many people? How many millions of people? I mean, you're going to have a couple of rotten apples for sure in any system that try to take advantage of it. But we see the problems with we discussed it briefly, the touch screens in Kentucky, some other ballot boxes that are left unsupervised. But Ohio does a good job. So without the people that are working tomorrow, and I salute each and every one of you, you're going to have a long day. I think they have to be at the polls open. For folks that don't know, polls open tomorrow here in Ohio at 6:30, close at 7:30 p.m. That's a long day.
So they're probably there, what, 4:30, 5?
Usually it depends on the precinct judge. So they'll show up tonight and do some pre-setup, but they'll hook up everything tomorrow morning. I would say they get there no later than maybe 5:30, 5:45.
Yeah.
Give them 45 minutes. Now, it used to be different with the different machines, the new machines now. Now everything's electronic. Poll books are electronic, makes it a little bit simpler, but as long as the internet's working. So I salute each and every person that's going to be making the system work here in Ohio. And I hope we have I hope that tomorrow night, what time is it now? So it's early, but I hope that tomorrow night, let's say 9:00, that we have some semblance of who the next senator from Ohio might be.
Yeah. We had a ton here in Hamilton County, a ton of things on the ballot.
Yeah, as we discussed.
It was a long ballot, but
it was a very long ballot.
And
I found out something else today. You and I discussed the last time about the why the pens are not just like a magic marker, because you got to sit there and squiggle in the whole square. Cost. Magic markers are more expensive. They wear out. Ballpoint pens are cheap and they don't wear out.
You can buy
thousands of them made in China.
In China.
And that's why they don't use magic markers. You know what I didn't ask? I was like, what if I brought in my own? No, thanks. I'm good. I got my own.
You bring in a fountain pen with a quill. A fucking quill.
I think it would do a better job than the little bitty ballpoint pen they have you. But anyway, go ahead. Roll that.
Now, I saw this story and I found it amusing that an NFL fans Trump t-shirt leads to confrontation with security at the Bills-Dolphins game. And there's a video here, and hopefully it's going to play through. And we'll talk after the video. But
it's an NFL policy that he cannot wear his Trump shirt in the first row.
100% false.
100% false. Right here.
Not a Trump shirt. It's nothing political.
Nothing
start
political.
real quick.
Again, it's an NFL policy that he cannot wear his Trump shirt in the first row.
100% false.
100% false. Right here.
Not a Trump shirt. It's nothing political.
Nothing political. From the NFL cannot be worn at a building.
We're in a free country.
We're in a free country.
It's a free country.
So according to the NFL policy, you cannot wear anything political at all.
What stadium is it?
It was the Bills-Dolphins game. And so reading this story, nothing has been corroborated to the fact that if you're in the front row, just those people around the front row can't wear anything political.
That's bullshit.
And we talked about the lady going into what stadium was it out west, Arizona, where she was wearing a Trump hat and they made her throw her hat in the garbage. You remember that story?
Yeah.
So such a crock of shit.
I mean, listen. I'm not. I guess that you have Bengals tickets, right? Or you go to Bengals games?
I just go to Bengals games. I don't.
Okay. Have you ever read the back of the ticket?
No.
Imagine there's something, because there's a lot of attorneys in the world and they just get off to this, but I'm sure there's something on there that says you agree to their bullshit, whatever else. I just for the money they're getting, and they're encouraging you to come to the game. So let me understand. If the guy wears, I guess you couldn't wear a MAGA hat on the front row either, because
that would be political, I would think.
I know that in the World Series there was some people behind home plate wearing some MAGA stuff that spurred some conversation. But I mean, is this what you have a choice to spend I'll put it this way. I don't agree with that. And you have a choice of where to spend your entertainment dollars. And if the NFL wants to take that position, they're totally within their right. And I have the freedom to say I don't have to go to an NFL game, and I'll just leave it at that.
So this
I think
part,
it's stupid.
This part of the article says the Bills have a fan code of conduct, which all teams do. For those who attend games at the stadium, there's no bullet point for political messages. One bullet point says fans are prohibited from indecent exposure, obscene clothing, or offensive signs. Well, it's very subjective of what's offensive, right? I mean,
it can be.
What
I
may have a sign may offend you, or it may not offend my neighbor across the street, or what. But they have that rule in there, so get it. But it doesn't fucking say anything. And if you find this article, which was on Fox News, Fox Sports rather, go look at it. But they said, I mean, there was nothing that they could find that said that he was not allowed to wear it. So he took his shirt off and just wore his zip up because he wanted to stay, he wanted to stay and cheer his team on. But I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, I think it's a monopoly. Let's be fair. It's a protected. I forget how it was discussed that the NFL is actually a protected kind of a monopoly type thing. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to get too bent about it. But like I said, if this is what they want to do, it kind of pisses me off because it's their product, it's their field, it's their stadium. Yes, we paid for it, but I don't have to go to the game. And if I agree to the terms of the tickets, then I got to play by their rules. I just don't. I'd be like, okay, I won't go.
I'm curious. This guy got singled out.
Well,
and I would be willing to bet that there was somebody else in that stadium.
Oh yeah,
that was wearing something
right
outside of Bills gear, or Dolphins gear, whatever. So are you? And they said the front row. Well, what's the difference between the front row, the second row, third row? The TV cameras go all the way up.
Dollars.
Well,
visibility.
Well, right.
I think you're a lot. And let me tell you, does that? I mean, I'll just say this. I've seen some Raider games with some people in the crowd that I'm like, that's offensive, and just because it was so ugly. I mean, have you seen some of the things the Raider fans wear to their games?
Oh, yeah.
It's like The Walking Dead. It's like goth on steroids.
But see, that offends you.
Well, that's my point.
Right. It's very subjective.
Anybody could be offended by anything. So, yeah, I wonder if anyone's ever gotten turned away from a Raider game. I'm sorry. You've taken it too far.
We're not taking your money.
You can't. Yeah, you can't come in. I don't know. Like, just don't go to the game. I mean, now, to be fair, you're going to a football game. You don't want to see politics, but if I see a red hat in the stands, I'm not going to assume that it's a Trump supporter. There's a lot of red hats out there, and unless there's MAGA on it. Here's an update for you. Do you know that here in Ohio, you can now, being a former election official, working the polls, that is, you cannot wear. Just so people know going into the polls tomorrow, if you're going to go vote and you have anything that says either Kamala or Trump, or I guess either one of the VPs, or Republican or Democrat on it, you cannot wear that inside. You can wear, here's the difference. You can wear a hat that says MAGA on it and Make America Great. You can say that as long as it doesn't have a Trump logo or the Trump name on the side. So, these are things that when you're going into vote tomorrow and someone says, well, sir, you have to take your hat off. If it doesn't say Trump on it, you don't have to take your hat off. And you can say, I'm sorry, that's already been decided upon. They did rule on that today, and they made clarifications on the rule because it's not electioneering. It's freedom of speech. So, yeah, I get it. I can't tell you the last time I went to an NFL game. So, and I can tell you that it was not the front row.
Exactly.
In the front row, you can't see anything.
I'm usually standing up on the concourse.
You can't see anything
next to the beer guy, the pissers, the food. Everything's
I mean,
right
for
there.
the front row is kind of cool if you want to rush the field, but other than that, you can't see anything. You can see barely over the players.
Right. You're seeing players' asses.
Yeah,
and you're not seeing the play develop.
You're not seeing the play develop. Like, the true aficionados of the game.
Correct.
Right.
You are correct.
I don't even want to talk about college football this weekend. My team got just hosed.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to talk about Peanut?
If we're gonna roll into Peanut, yeah, I've got a lot of strong.
I mean, you tell me which way you want to go, but we have that we have that there. We can talk about burning ballot boxes. We can go all over the place.
I think we should talk about the most egregious thing and the story that I think should be front and center. And you're going to be like, dude, it's a squirrel. It's not. I mean, yeah, it's a squirrel, but it wasn't a squirrel. I mean, it was a pet. And it was this dude's pet. And the government, the long arm of the government. I mean, we're talking. Let's roll the story, and then I'll just get pissed off on the backside.
That sounds great. I love it.
6 to 8 of them showed up and gave me a warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon.
The search warrant said Longo was in unlawful possession of wildlife. He says agents ransacked his property for 5 hours until they found Peanut and Fred the raccoon.
We complied. We weren't allowed to move. We were police escorted into the bathroom. Mind you, this is a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And I feel like this was a little bit of an overkill.
Longo says he was working on the necessary paperwork to be able to legally own Peanut as an educational animal.
You're not only hurting my family by taking Peanut away from me, but you're also hurting the organization that we started on the back of a rescue squirrel. We named this organization Peanut's Freedom Farm because he has been such a big portion of my life and so many people around the world. You know, we promoted the fact that squirrels are not good pets. They don't deserve to be inside, but there are rare occasions where you stumble on an animal that unfortunately can't survive in their normal habitat. That's the only reason why Peanut was ever.
So
what happened? What happened to the feed?
So I have that was it.
That was it.
That was the end of that video.
Here's the deal.
Interview.
So we're talking about the state of New York. Okay. What's going on in New York? I mean, they've got, it's not like it's some nirvana and there's nothing else going on. They're putting up migrants in public hotels on your tax dollar. They're giving them illegal migrants, mind you. They're putting up, they're giving them prepaid credit cards, and they spent how much time and effort did the agencies involved here spend not only casing the joint, securing the search warrant, executing the search warrant, and then the next day, I mean, literally, okay, it's a squirrel, right? And let's not forget Fred the raccoon. Fred got off too.
The raccoon.
He got killed too. So they couldn't open up a can of tuna fish, throw it in a pet carrier with the raccoon and be like, have at it, buddy. We'll see you in a couple of days till we work this out, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Or they couldn't take a cardboard box, toss Peanut the squirrel in there with a jar of planters and a bowl of water and be like, see you in a couple of days. I'm pretty sure the squirrel would have been fine. Instead, what did they do? They literally killed this guy's pet. Now, on that video, on that report, was there video? I mean, this squirrel was like, the guy rescued the squirrel. It's not like he went out and wrested the squirrel from Squirrel Mama.
He went viral on TikTok with all the shit that
the squirrel was like trained. It was like his pet. He came in, the squirrel would jump all over him. He'd run up, and that's not my deal. That's his deal. More power to him. I just sent you the sign that should be in everybody's phone. Okay, everybody's phone should have the sign. Wait, I didn't send it to you, but anyway, I'm sending it to you right now. So listen, here's the deal. The long arm of the government, Kathy Hochul, Democrat, New York, decided this guy and the squirrel were a threat, and they sat there and took this guy's pet. This guy does a lot of good with this, and then what did they do? They killed the squirrel. Well, let me ask you, where's PETA? Where's all the liberal animal rights groups that are like, oh, don't eat meat because eating meat is bad? But I probably wouldn't eat squirrel. I mean, it depends how bad things got. I mean, sure.
I've had it.
You've had it?
Yeah, it's not great.
I mean, it's got to be greasy and kind of stringy, and it's basically squirrels' lives matter.
They do.
I'm not going to sit here and have people, just not act like squirrels' lives don't matter. Remember that when you're driving through your neighborhood.
So, all right. So you literally just segued right in. So when our buddy Rob was well, and it was Rob, Dan, and
Justice for Peanut, Chili upstairs. Justice for Peanut.
But when we were all three doing this, there was a huge uproar on Watchful Eyes of Anderson.
Oh God!
About the Sammy the albino squirrel.
I've seen albino squirrels. There are a lot in DC for some reason.
There's a lot in Marymount as well. Black squirrels in Glendale. But We did a whole
It's a
story.
racial thing.
We did a whole story on Sammy, the albino squirrel, who got run over by a car by
God.
some vicious son of a bitch.
Did they just excoriate the poor soul that ran over Sammy, the albino squirrel?
Oh, he got all kinds of hate. And then
Did
Rob,
they have to move?
Rob ended up recreating the incident
Oh my God.
and drew a chalk outline of Sammy, which was a stick squirrel. And we posted that on our Instagram. Go back and find it. It's there. Absolutely fucking hysterical because this area, our area that we live in, went into a fucking uproar. Because the squirrel got ran over by a car.
Right.
That happened.
It was an accident, or did the guy?
But there was not a search warrant to invade somebody's house to
Right.
take his fucking pet.
So the government's position on this was that when they came in and grabbed the squirrel, okay, so some dude comes in, grabs the squirrel, probably by the tail, I'm not sure, because they're fast little boogers, grabs the
Little
squirrel,
boogers.
and the squirrel bit the guy. So they're like, uh-oh, he could be rabid. We're gonna and you know how they test for that, right? They kill you and then they test your brain. They're like, so maybe, I don't know, someone could come up with, I don't know, perhaps a better test that doesn't involve killing you. And where I just don't see where the outrage. Now people are like, dude, it's just a squirrel. Well, let me ask you a question. Today it's a squirrel. So they come on your property. Let's just say they have the wrong address, which has happened on search warrants. They've inverted numbers. They've gotten the street wrong, any number of things. And then let's say you have a dog or a cat. And the cat, you have a dog.
Yep.
And the cat or dog, well, the cat wouldn't care because they're a cat, but the dog is protecting your property. Cat's like, come on in. Shit's over there. Get him.
Money's over there.
That's right. That's the cat. Cat's like, just feed me. I'll be your friend.
Just watches.
That's all they do. Plotting. It's just plot. We just lost the cat vote on the show.
They're just waiting to put their paws over your
I don't
nose
think
to suffocate
I don't think cat people are listening to the show anyway. But anyway, and they off your dog or whatever. You know, maybe you have a pet piranha that's defending your house, and they off your piranha. I mean, whatever the case might be, unless it's a snake, in which point I really wouldn't have a problem with that because I don't like snakes. But where does it stop? I mean, I think this guy's rights were violated. I think he should sue the state of New York for everything they have and then some more. And, I just don't agree with the fact that it's just about a squirrel. It's so much more than a squirrel. It's about big government. It's about power. It's about enforcing its will on you. It's about, rolling over your rights. And
I'm trying to figure out, so I saw this story hit and it hit social media, but I didn't know much about it.
Right.
What caused it? What caused them?
I think
to get
they
a search warrant?
said, from what I understand, I was listening to the radio today, and this is per the radio program I was
and the
listening
fact
to.
that it's on the radio just makes me
they
giggle
talked
even
about
more.
it for over an hour.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's a huge story
It's everywhere
for whatever reason.
So here's the deal. They said that probably a local Karen in his neighborhood complained that he had the pets in his house and was concerned he didn't have a license for a raccoon and a squirrel. I'll be frank.
The lady that lives next door to my rental house has a raccoon.
Okay.
And when I first bought the house, I was warned.
There's a raccoon there.
Hey, Rocky likes to go out at night, just FYI.
Don't shoot him.
Essentially. And I'm like, well, as long as Rocky, quote unquote, is not on my roof or messing up my house.
It's supposed to be Ricky.
Cool.
You not heard the Beatles song?
Yes.
Ricky Raccoon. It's not Rocky Raccoon.
I didn't name the fucking thing.
I'm just telling you. She knew her songs. She would have named it Ricky Raccoon. Then that would have been cool.
It's Rocky.
Actually, I got to tell you, I've seen videos of
it's
raccoons.
Fucking weird. It's weird to me, though.
I think raccoons would be a cool pet. I mean, unless they pissed off. I hate to piss off a raccoon. They got teeth. But I mean, I think raccoons are probably pretty cool. I don't think I would have one as a pet, but I think that'd be cool to see a pet raccoon that you could play with and whatever. I think they're kind of neat. But again, where's the line?
Why do you need a license? Why do you need a license to house a raccoon?
I couldn't tell you.
It's not something I would do, but I mean, if somebody wants to do it, why do you need a license?
And this guy wasn't doing.
I don't need a. I mean,
this guy was
supposed to register. You're supposed to register your dogs,
right?
To get dog, the
dog tags, right? You have to. I mean, I draw the line because I think some pets you should not be allowed to have. For example,
see videos with fucking baby deers.
Well, rescuing them is one thing, but I mean, I see people that
I don't know where that line goes.
I mean, you see the situation we have now in South Florida where there's pythons everywhere because some moron thought it would be cool to have a python. And then he was like, man, I'm so sick of buying rabbits and rats to feed this stupid thing. I'm just going to let it loose. Well, the problem is now pythons are everywhere in
No, I get
Florida,
that.
and they're taking over, upsetting the ecosystem. Not a big fan of pythons and exotic snakes. You know, for example, tigers.
Look-
What was the tiger guy name? I forget his name.
Tiger King. Yeah.
Yeah, Tiger
Fucking
King.
Joe
What was his
Exotic.
name?
Joe Exotic.
Again,
He just got engaged, by the way,
that's great.
in prison.
You're watching some powerfully poignant programming there on your TV, but
Hey, I'm reporting news.
it sounds like you're watching it, but and you were excited. Here's the deal. The guy wasn't hurting anybody. It was a rescue raccoon. He rescued it. Some neighbor complained, used the power of the state to come in and take his pets. The next day they killed them.
That's the biggest issue.
That's, to me, that's just fundamentally wrong. So I will say this, because I have a feeling I've stumbled upon the real reason that they offed this raccoon. And I'm going to show you.
I can't wait.
Well, I mean, it's come to light that apparently the real reason they did not like the raccoon was he was a Trump supporter.
Probably.
And that's why they killed the raccoon. So tomorrow, because I have this photograph. So I'm going to mail you that one. And we're going to share this on the air.
As you should.
As I should have done already, but I'm just remiss. But here's the deal. Tomorrow, if you for no other reason get up and vote tomorrow, do it for Peanut.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do this. I mean, you cannot ignore the fact that this is a cute raccoon. And I can't believe more people
You're
are not.
sending me a
upset.
picture of a squirrel, so get that shit
I
right.
did. I sent you the picture of the squirrel.
You keep saying raccoon.
Oh, well, he killed both. So I have a hard time. It's
Deciphering
just, take your pick. I should have worn, you know what? So the other thing I was thinking about getting Tucker yesterday, I was going to go up to Jungle Jim's and get him like a little stuffed raccoon and just hand that to him. Go, here you go.
God.
He gave a funny speech. It was pretty
That would've
funny.
been awesome.
It would have been awesome, but I was like, you know what? I just have to. I had to stay very low. There's proof. There's why they killed your squirrel. Everybody, look at that. How do you feel now?
Hold on. I haven't posted it yet.
Well, post the damn thing.
Well, I'm trying to. Stand by.
Here it comes. Standing by.
I have to fucking pull it up again.
I trust no one. I did, someone mentioned the raccoons in the trash. I did go out one night. I heard something in my trash. I went out and I
Clear
opened
out some of these pictures. That's why.
I opened up
There you
up the trash can and I saw like 6 eyes looking up at me. I thought my life had ended. There he is. That's the reason. That's the reason they killed him.
That's it.
The real reason that Peanut, the raccoon, is now dead.
And that's a squirrel.
And you're
Again.
going to think about
You
this.
keep saying raccoon. Are you drunk, high, or
Did I say raccoon?
Yeah, you said raccoon again. I feel like you're having a stroke.
That might be strong. Well, here's the deal. I'm kind
Might
first
be
of all,
live on the air.
I got to be honest with you. So I'm kind of wound a little tight for this election, and I didn't sleep so well last night. I hope I
Something.
sleep tonight.
Jesus.
Well, here's the deal. I feel like you remember back in the day.
I'm petrified for you right now.
Well, I'm petrified for the country because I feel like I'm in the green room of a Maury Povich show, and we're doing the segment "You Are the Father," and I'm like sitting there waiting to find out what the results of the test are going to be, because I'm like, it's like I just feel like I'm so, and a lot of people have called me today. They're like, "How are you doing?" Or and I'm like, "What do you want to talk about? You want to commiserate our misery together? I mean, how do we feel?" We're just very nervous. How do you feel?
It's a huge buildup.
How do you feel?
I'm scared.
And you're not even half as. I mean, you're political, but you're not overly political.
Correct.
I mean, the
But
sun will come up Wednesday for you.
but I'm not. I mean, potentially not going to be happy, or potentially going to be elated. But it's one of those things. It's so close
Did
right
you
now.
say elated?
Elated.
It's a big word.
Elated.
Must be those pain pills.
Yeah, something. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go either.
No one knows, and it's outside our control. Now, here's what I will say. I'm very happy about Ohio. Ohio's looking very, very good. Ohio, I think Trump takes Ohio by anywhere between 8 and 12 points, which is huge in political speak. I mean, that's a big margin of victory. But I'm concerned, man. I have no control over Pennsylvania. I hear about some of the things happening with some of their votes that they'll allow versus not allow. Michigan, I have very little confidence in Michigan. Wisconsin, I'm not sure. It could be a cheese overload. I'm not really positive what happens up there. So I'm genuinely concerned about this election. I do not think it's a cakewalk. Nothing is to be taken for granted. And that's why when I talk to people, they're like, for some reason, people want to call me and they're like, what are you thinking about tomorrow? I'm like, dude, I don't know anything. I mean, trust me, on the daily basis, I know very little. I don't know. I'm just very nervous. And I hope everybody that has family in other states that are in play calls them up and make sure not only that their family voted, but everybody they know votes, because assume nothing and then we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, and you have this, and this is why I get apprehensive and don't want to feel one way or the other. But you have videos like this, Clark County, Washington, where a ballot box where you can just drop your ballots off gets set ablaze.
Yeah, that's and
destroying
that was
hundreds of ballots.
What was it? Clark County, Washington.
Washington, yeah.
Now here's the deal: it's Washington State. Those are all Democrat votes,
but they're votes. It doesn't matter.
Votes.
It doesn't matter,
and no one's going to know who. And here's the problem: how are you going to identify who voted there and who didn't? Because they're the ballots are now destroyed. So if someone comes up and says, "Yeah, I voted there," but he really didn't vote there, he had an absentee ballot and he voted dropped off in another box, he'll get to vote twice, which really pisses me off. Nothing pisses me off more than people that either should not be voting, like non-citizens, or people that vote more than once, because it really, voter disenfranchisement really pisses me off, because I know how hard.
Who just rolled back the
date?
No, for the illegals to be able to vote. They rolled on it and they pulled it back, and I can't remember what fucking state it was.
Oh, I don't,
right now, shit.
I
just saw it.
I don't know, but I mean, I'll tell you, it's why is that even up for discussion?
And John brings up a good point: is we've changed nothing since 2020. Why is there any belief that it's real?
I can't disagree with one word of what you said. It's like it's 2024. There were problems in 2020, and you know exactly what the problems were. You know where they are. Is you have any doubt that on election night that the Atlanta area of Georgia is going to have some sort of voting problem? Fulton County, you can have any question in your mind that Pennsylvania is going to have voting anomalies, that they're going to have to stop counting the vote or just be delayed?
Maricopa County.
I mean, it's Arizona. Can you guys? I mean, you have one job to do. I mean, I hate to yell, but you have one freaking job to do. Figure out the problems, get a solution to the problem, and then change it. Why are you doing the same thing? I mean, how many precincts tomorrow in different states? Not here in Ohio, because I'm really comfortable with how we vote here in Ohio. I really am. But I mean, how many other parts of the country do we hear about? Oh, we ran short of ballots. Why are you printing ballots at a central location in Ohio? When I went and voted early, you go in, you give them your driver's license, and they print the ballot right there.
Yep.
It's not that, you know what? They have these things. They're called printers. It's not that hard. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And they print it right there. So I don't get it. And after a while, it really makes you think, are they doing this shit on purpose? I mean, is there a reason that they're not fixing the problem? I know every state has its own voting laws, and the legislature, not the courts, but the legislatures of those states are responsible for doing the elections within that state's borders. I understand that. However, is it asking too much that maybe there'll be like I don't know, they could meet in Miami. I don't care where they meet. They're going to say, hey, it's December. We're going to Miami. Let's all get together and talk about how the elections run in your state. Why can't they do that?
Right.
Can't there be an election symposium or an election conference in some nice, you want to go to Puerto Rico? Well, I don't know. After that joke at the Trump thing, maybe you don't, but I mean, you want to go to Hawaii? I don't care. You want to go to a beach somewhere and all get together, at least talk about it. You want to have a Zoom meeting, say, hey, this is what we do in this state and this works really well. Well, this is what we do in this state and it doesn't work. So stay away from doing that. But it's 2024. We're the United States of America. And you're telling me we can't figure out how to vote?
Right. And what I don't understand is the fact that it's not universal across the board. One process, and that's never going to happen.
Hard not to come to that conclusion. I just saw, I got a message on the screen. It's intentional. It's hard for a thinking person, a logical person, to say, you know what? I mean, it's either intentional or the epitome of incompetence. When government's involved, I think it's a toss-up. Could be either one there because, no one was ever held accountable. I think remember the guy in Florida during Gore Bush that would hang up with, remember the guy that was looking at the Chads? He had like the thickest glasses known to man. I think he went on to be like an air traffic controller, but he was like, he was like sitting there. He was sitting there. You're right. And that's how you do. That's exactly right. I think the reason raised a great point. Thank you for that comment. The reason that we're having these problems is at some point, then you get the feds involved and there's a federal election standards. And if you're going to sleep better at night, knowing the federal government's involved in or overseeing your elections, buddy, these clowns, I mean, having just done some mailers for my precinct, I was stunned. I haven't mailed anything in a long time. I bought back in the day, I bought like, a bunch of rolls of those forever stamps. Okay. So I went in there like, if you want to buy these stamps, so they're never going to go up. I'm like, yeah, sure. Give me a couple rolls, whatever. We don't mail very much anymore anyway, because I don't have friends and I don't want to mail anybody anything. So anyhow, but I know. So here's the deal. I think what's the stamp up to now? Like 65 cents? I think it's something like that.
I don't mail anything. So.
But I mean, I can remember 35 cents and I'm old, but I'm not that old. And so stamps have doubled. You want to put the federal government, the epitome of inefficiencies, fraud, corruption, waste, in charge of the federal elections? No, thank you. I don't want to do that.
I want it a process that's the same across the board, though.
Well, it's the same, but that's just it. It's not the same because the states are in charge. But I just wish that instead of putting the federal government in charge of it, maybe the states should get together and say, hey, for example, Ohio does a great job, gets their results. You remember 29-cent stamps. Yeah. Ohio does a great job with the elections. We don't seem to have a lot of complaints every year. We do not seem to have a lot of cases of fraud. The ones that we do find, I think we're pretty diligent on hearing and prosecuting those cases. And I think that the states, is it too much to get the secretaries of state from all the nation of all the states together at the end, or maybe every 3 years or every 2 years or whatever, and say, hey, this worked, this didn't work? I mean, isn't it in the best interest of the country? And then you guys can maybe decide if you want to use what worked, or that at least then you can say, man, I'm not doing that because that sucks. I'm not going back to the, I don't know why.
I'm not going back to hanging chats.
Yeah, I'm not going back to. I will tell you a story. So I was working the inside of the polls one year. Did I tell you about this? So I was working with the punch shads.
Yeah.
And the voter was holding it up. They didn't know to slide it into the little thing. So they were flipping the page and it said like 29 was yes. So they're holding the thing up. They're looking for number 29 to stick the little stylus through. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, looking for number 29. I'm like, you just slide it in the holder and then you just punch the thing. But we got away from that here in Ohio. We've now gone to this other system, which seems to be working out just fine. Gets the results pretty quickly, helps tabulating them pretty quick. I've worked the polls. You want to be fast.
So when I say the same, so like here in Ohio, like you said, you go up, show driver's license, they print out a paper ballot.
Right.
You go and you take your stupid ballpoint pen,
unless you bring your marquee in.
But then there's some states.
Work. I need to check with Frank and see if that would work.
There's some states that are touchscreen.
Yeah, Kentucky's and it's not working.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, at least make them all paper ballots.
That's not a federal decision. That's a state decision.
I know.
And I can't disagree with you.
But that's where I mean. Like when I say that.
Well, you would have to elect somebody. You would have to elect.
What do we know about technology? It's bound to fail at some point.
Well, when you rely on it, especially.
Yes.
The thing I would say is this: you'd have to elect people across the board that are there to do the greater good and not themselves. So the chances of that happening without federal interference is pretty slim. But
absolutely.
I think you could do this, and I think that it should be done. Is that we've seen the video that's gone fairly viral of the guy in Kentucky pushing the screen and Trump's name is not being selected. It keeps going to Kamala. I think that putting public pressure and just ridiculing these officials for not fixing this problem is a pretty good place to start. So keep those videos coming.
Yeah, please do.
I mean, I know there's, nowadays this is a video camera. I mean, I don't know if you knew that, but I mean, it's not hard to be in any polling location and take a video of anomalies or things that are happening that shouldn't be happening or technology not working correctly. And then you just go straight to the internet or straight to the local news, or actually I would go straight, if I saw a problem, here's what I would do. If I'll just tell you what I would do. You can decide what you want to do, and that's across the board for anybody. But let's just say you're voting tomorrow and you see something that you're like, that smells bad. That's not cool. I don't think that's right. Take a picture, take a video, and then go to your local board of elections or go to your precinct judge there and say, hey, listen, I saw this. You might have been out, grabbing a bite to eat, but this person was helping somebody else vote, or this person was doing this, or I saw that, and I don't think it's cool. Nothing is perfect, but you might see some anomalies. I'm more specifically talking about states where you don't have the system we have here. And if you're pushing the button for Trump in Kentucky and it keeps coming up Kamala, take a video of it. Seriously, take a video of it and turn it into the Board of Elections and say, this is just not cool. Let's change this. And if they don't fix it, it'll obviously end up on social media and maybe, go viral, and some national talk show will make a big deal out of it.
Right.
Or a local podcast.
Potentially. Send the video.
Syndication.
No, to your point, I don't know how it's going to go. And it is very, a buddy of mine brought up.
Why is it this close? That's the thing that just drives me insane.
And so I'm okay with it being this close because I didn't think it was going to be this close in the very beginning. I thought it was going to be her running away with it.
You really thought you thought that after they yanked Joe the corpse out of his chair,
yes,
and stuck Kamala the hyena, not to tell you who I'm voting for, trying to remain objective here. Does that hurt?
Yeah.
Does it hurt to laugh?
But I don't. All right.
You thought that
I
she would.
I shouldn't have said run away with it, but I figured there would be a bigger lead.
Huh.
Just because she got coronated and didn't go through a primary.
No, she still has not received one vote.
And she was gifted
has not
this
done
opportunity.
Now, we had a story. You had a story last time. I mean, how many interviews has she done?
Oh, yeah. We got fucking...
Yeah.
She hasn't... Well, this is from last week, but...
From last week.
106 days.
Right.
Now,
6 days.
She's had some small pressers, but not like actual...
Oh, yeah. And did
interviews.
you notice I saw a presser, and so she's waiting for her staff to tell her to call him. Call him that guy.
Right.
Call him the guy in the blue shirt.
Well, it's the same thing they did with
She's
fucking
terrible.
Joe, though.
Well, that's correct.
He's the only one allowed to ask questions.
So she's
the only one allowed to ask questions.
They kind of stepped in it. They did do. She was on.
Did you watch Rogan with Trump and Vance?
I didn't see Vance yet.
Two separate.
Vance was
Trump. Vance was very, very good.
Yeah, and I
excellent.
And so she wouldn't do Rogan. I got in a discussion with somebody. So I like some of these pages I'm on social media, and they're all pro. You can tell by the headlines the way they write it. They're like ending days of the election, and Kamala's trying to spread her joy versus Trump's terrible message or whatever. And I'm like, that's your headline? It was actually WLWT had one today. It was very similar to that. And I was like, let me get this straight for a second. I just want to understand. I'm not very smart. So I got Joe Biden calling me, or the Democrats calling me a Nazi. Okay. Saying that the women that support Trump are lazy and stupid. Got it. If you support Trump, you're garbage.
Garbage, yeah.
Got that. There was one other one that jumps out at me that I can't remember right now. One other one. All these are divisive, derogatory terms used. And we're going to worry about Trump's rhetoric. Okay.
Right.
And her message is what? Positive and uplifting.
Him rolling up in that fucking garbage truck was the greatest fucking thing. And then you had JD Vance's plane and Walls's plane, and there was a line of garbage trucks in between it. Did you see that picture?
I did not,
and it
but
was
I heard about it.
Fucking fantastic.
It's just,
I love it. You know what? You want to play bullshit pool? Then we'll play bullshit pool. Fuck
it's just
you.
I think the frustrating thing is that I think the frustrating thing is the media is just unbelievably naked bias to try to help her and hurt him as much as they can. That's from local news to network news. And I know there's some good unbiased reporters in the business, but by and large, from my experience being in politics, and the stories they choose to run and the headlines they choose to run and the quotes, most specifically, the quotes that you give them or what they choose to pull from a 10 or maybe a 5-minute answer you give, and they find one line to use in out of 5 minutes. It's very frustrating to see the people that use their profession to further their political point of view.
I want to get to your video that you sent me right before we started.
Oh, wait, the one I sent you? Just
Yeah.
the one? Wait, the schoolhouse one?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me press
Because we're gonna have to.
Oh my God, has it been an hour already?
We're at 56 minutes.
God, I feel like
I know it goes by fast.
What would I
That's what
usually
you
say?
said.
I usually would say that.
It's like
But I've
a
matured.
soap bottle, 2 pumps in a squirt.
Whatever. Here's the deal. So I was thinking today to myself, and I said, I remember a song popped into my head, and I want to know how many of our viewers or listeners or people that follow the show or whatever we call them, pod followers, remember this song. And there's a whole series of this song, like back in the 70s. This was from 75. We pulled up the date. I told Jason, I was like, man, I don't know, 70 something. So Schoolhouse Rock used to do a really good job of putting things in cartoon form. It was on, I believe it was on Saturday morning. They'd play this stuff, maybe in between, episodes of Sesame Street. That was good back in the day. And this is talking about the Constitution. And I still I can sing this stupid song, and it's stuck in my head. And I hope that tomorrow when you go vote, because we might have, I'll put it this way. So I woke up this morning. I'm going in a lot of different directions, so bear with me, but obviously no sleep factors in. I woke up this morning. I was kind of like, man, am I ambivalent? Am I nervous? I'm this, I'm that. And I was like, and the reason I guess I'm so nervous, and people are like, some people that I do politics with are like, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world if she wins the election. And I will disagree. And I'm not saying it's the end of the world. And I'm not saying that she is going to do, because especially if we get the Senate, we'll have some sort of firewall. But my problem is this. How many illegal aliens have been let into this country in the last 3 years? Millions. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be on the fast track to citizenship under Kamala Harris. Don't even pretend that that's not the case. And my problem is by changing the very fabric of the country, we're changing elections. So in 4 years, if we legalize millions and millions of citizens that weren't illegal residents that weren't here legally, that should not be here, and we make them into the fabric of America, we've then changed America. And if you make, well, California is going to stay blue forever because it's just California. New York State is going to stay blue forever. But what happens if Texas goes blue? And what happens if Florida goes blue? Yeah. Right? So then the election is pretty much over before it even begins. So that's my concern. I'm not like thinking that tomorrow the Stasi, which is a term you might not know, but the Stasi breaks down my door and says, if Kamala was elected, you had a Trump sign, you have to come with me.
Right.
Or you have a squirrel, let me kill it. But I'm like, in 4 years, it's going to be very difficult for me to run or have candidates run elections, because what's the point, man? We're starting a football game and we're already down by 4 touchdowns.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they only need one more touchdown to win. So, if you start off with all those states, add up the electoral college votes, California, Texas, Florida, New York, you don't need that many more to cross the finish line.
Right.
So that's my concern. So going to the poll tomorrow, going to the election, I just wanted something to kind of stick in your head. So if this one gets in your craw or gets in your cranium and you're singing it all day, you can curse my name all day tomorrow. But I want to know how many of you guys remember this little ditty. It's probably going to come up on a commercial.
Has run our country ever since then. The first part of the Constitution is called the Preamble and tells what those founding fathers set out to do. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility.
That's good.
It's great.
Provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare at hand, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution.
All right, I've had enough of you fucking
Come on,
singing.
man. That is the greatest.
I've had enough of you
That's
singing.
Schoolhouse Rock.
No, I appreciate it though. I do appreciate it. I don't remember it. I remember
I mean, how about I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill?
in syndication I've seen it, but I didn't see it like when it
on
was
Air TV when
on
we
Air
had
TV.
3 channels.
Yeah.
And one of them was fuzzy because it was UHF.
Well, I was born in 79, so I did not see that.
So young. You don't know. You
But
don't
I
understand.
remember seeing it though, and I think it's a good point though. They don't teach it. They don't teach it anymore.
That's right. They don't teach it in school. It's an easy. I was singing. Let me tell you something. I was singing that song. I didn't watch that today. I just pulled it up.
And it just hit you there.
Boom. I know the words. I know the words. And you know, everybody should know those words.
It's a good little.
It's a good little ditty that should be taught in schools. It's not taught in schools. Unfortunately, we're focused on different things. So tomorrow, what's this about? And you're going to close with a video.
Yes.
But tomorrow, what is this about? I mean, it's about getting involved. And I don't want to hear anyone say, well, my vote didn't count. We have, and let's just go through the candidates here locally here, just briefly. You give me that.
Hurry up. I
Okay.
got somewhere to be.
You do?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I got somewhere to be.
Okay,
Just
whatever.
hurry the fuck up.
Here's the deal. Tomorrow, the president's race, Ohio, we're going to win the president's race. I'm not that worried about. You got Bernie Moreno running for senator, could unseat Sherrod Brown, very important race. Locally here, we have sheriff's race, Jim Neal running for sheriff, take away from Charmaine McGuffey, wildly liberal Democrat. Prosecutor's race, Missy Powers running for prosecutor, re-election. Very, very important race, will determine the laws that are prosecuted here in Hamilton County. Yep. And Connie Pillage is a train wreck of a candidate and would not do a good job. We have state rep Kurt Hartman's running here against our local liberal state rep. We have a number of judges that are running, that GOPjudges.com, that we have the list of them that will determine, you know, we've talked about Judge Silverstein and her low no bond, no bail and how that affects criminals and crime prosecution. What am I leaving out? Am I leaving out? Is it Congress? We have Orlando Sanza running against Greg Landsman in Ohio District 1. That's your congressional representation. We have state senate race here in Anderson. I mean, there's a number of races down ticket that affect you and that you affect the outcome of that race. So please don't think that your vote doesn't matter. Remember that song. Play it a couple of times. It's going to crawl into your head. It's going to get ingrained there, and you're going to curse me like no one's business.
It's already in my head, and I'm already cursing you. But we're gonna close out with this, and
to form a more perfect union.
Oh Jesus, it's even worse now. But yeah, we wanted to do this election eve show, and hopefully everybody got out and voted early, or are going to tomorrow. But make sure you do that. So we got this.
Next Tuesday, all of you will go to the polls. Will stand there in the polling place and make a decision. I think when you make that decision, it might be well if you would ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? And if you answer all of those questions, yes, why then I think your choice is very obvious as to who you will vote for. If you don't agree, if you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.